They say the best tool is the one you actually carry, which is where the Fallkniven DC3 could be perfect. I've had this for 2 years now, and is it too small to sharpen, or is it the perfect field sharpening stone? Stay to the end and I'll go through the pros and cons. I'll also show some alternatives if this is not the pocket sharpening stone for you. So as I said, I've had this for 2 years now. I live in the UK. We tend to have smaller knives in the UK because of the restrictions, so this works out a good size. I'll just go through the specs and then I'll go through a use test for this. So the size, it's 75 millimeters by 25, so that's 3 inches by 1 inch. The weight without the case is 37 grams or 1.3 ounces, and with the case it's 53 grams or 1.9 ounces. When we look at the grit, there's the diamond side, which is 25 microns. Now this is equivalent to about 800 grit. On the other side is the ceramic, which is 5 microns, and this is equivalent to a 4000 grit. So you get 2 good stages of sharpening. In addition to that, on the case, there's a rough leather side to this, and you can put some stropping compound on. Within this small package, you can have 3 levels of honing to use for any of your knives while you're out and about. Now the cost. This should be under £20 or $20, depending on where you can find it. I couldn't find it on Amazon US, but in the Amazon UK, it was £18. If you go to Heine Haynes, I believe it was less than that. So if you're in the UK, check out Heine Haynes. I'll put a link in the description below. So let's do a test. So I do quite a lot of shopping in the secondhand market, going to flea fairs and to Sharp Show. I can't remember where I picked this up. This is one of the Victorinox Delamont series. I think it's the Evolution S10. Anyway, I got it and the blade is okay, but it's not that sharp. It's quite often happens when you pick up a secondhand knife. So I can, yeah, it's not cutting too well. So let's just give it a try. Now, one of the things with these stones are that they are quite small to hold, so you've got to be careful to get your fingertips out the way. The way that I found the best way to hold it is between 2 fingers and my thumb, keeping both of them well out of the way of the blade. You can either pull or push it or do both. That's fine. So what I tend to do is to put the blade flat on here and then just lift it slightly to pick up the bevel, and then I move it backwards and forwards. So because of the size of the stone, I don't try and do it all in one go, and I'm not that good at sharpening either. So I'll give it several goes on one side, then flip it over and again lift it up slightly. And I'm letting the diamonds do the work. So I'm not applying much pressure, so it's not difficult to hold. I don't take it right to the edge either, so I'm keeping it well away from my fingers. Then to do the curved part, I do the same thing. I lift it up slightly and then I turn it as I go. Now, some people like to use this by moving the stone and not the blade. I would do that for a larger knife. For these smaller knives, I think I have better control just by holding it myself. I'm trying to keep the angle consistent. I'll just do a few passes. We'll just give that a quick clean and let's give it another test. So it's better. It's not quite there yet. So we give it a few more passes. Now, with these stones, when you first get them, as you'll probably see on the edge, they tend to be a bit more coarse, so they do need a bit of wearing in. I think this is looking a bit better. Right, let's do a few more passes. It's best to do most of the work on the lower grit because it removes metal much quicker and you'll get closer to the edge that you want. So you can try and do it in one pass. I'm not that good at doing that. Right, let's give it another test. Right, that's looking a lot better. I'm just checking that there's no hang up on the blade. So let's switch it over and we'll try it with the ceramic side. So we're going to do the same really. I'm trying to keep the angle consistent. I'm doing the straight part first, then I'll have a go with the curve. You can try and do it all in one go. It's not so easy though. And as you can see, where I've got my fingers, if I did slip off, it's not going to hit my finger. My thumb, just need to keep it out of the way. Try and get the curved part of the blade as well. It's always a bit more difficult to keep that consistent angle with that. Okay, we've done that. Now I'm just going to give it a quick clean and then a quick strop. So with the stropping, we only ever take it away from the edge. So we're just pulling it away from the edge and just trying to make sure that we get all of the blade. This is good just for taking off any burrs and just giving it that final touch up. Now, the only thing you have to watch with this is that the stropping compound does come off and it's a bit gummy. So let's give it another test. So super sharp, and that just took a few minutes. So the pros and cons of this. I think the cons are it is small, you know. There is the DC4, which is 4 inches long, so that's a little bit easier to hold. So I don't think it's too small. I don't think it's too small to hold safely, but you do need to be careful how you hold it. It does make it a little bit more difficult to have a consistent angle with it as you're using it. So they're the cons. The pros are, I think, it's pretty robust, especially as it comes in this case. It's light and it weighs less than most knives, and it easily fits in a rucksack pocket or even in a small kit that you have. So I think that makes it a great knife. If that isn't the sort of sharpener for you, 2 alternatives maybe to look at. One is this Sharpal, which is a diamond credit card sized diamond sharpener. Now this is a fine grit 600. What's quite good about this is it has the finger hole, so you can hold it and keep your fingers well away from it. So if we were to use this, you can see that it's quite easy to hold and to keep out the way. But that only has the 1 grit on it. In this case, it's 600. I think there are other ones available. And then my other firm favorite is this one, which is the Victorinox. And it's a dual knife sharpener. It has 1,000 grit equivalent ceramic pull-through sharpener, which I tend not to use. I tend to use the stone more. And if you're using this, the best thing is to hold it at angle from vertical and then to bring your knife down, keeping the knife vertical. And the disadvantage with this is it doesn't have a diamond element to it, so it's only good for the softer steels. But as you might expect, for a Victorinox inox, this is pretty much near perfect. So if you don't like the DC3, try one of these other ones. The price of this, I think the Sharpal is somewhere around about £10 or $10. I'll put some links to it on Amazon. And the Victorinox, it should be under £20 or $20, probably more around about 15. And again, I'll put some links to this in the description. So that's it. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Do you own one of these, or do you use an alternative? If you like this video, why not check out this video here on the Victorinox sharpener, or this playlist over here on sharpening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.